you know, what we needed to work on here. So there's something with the bow hand also, but we're just going to separate them out today. All right, so one of the key things with the left hand, well, with both hands, is relaxation, of course. All right, so when you lift your finger like this, you don't want to lift it to the point where it's going to cause this to happen. Do you see how I close this up? And now I'm kind of squeezing, and this is no longer a straight line. It goes up and then it goes back. So at no point do we actually make it go back to the point where it's squeezing. And how you can tell is if your thumb is going like that. All right, so the first exercise is called target practice. This came from Miss DeLay. It's really a helpful thing to do. So you can just do this without the bow, just plucking up the scale, because you do want your fingers to be in tune when you do that. So you're going to go like this. You're going to lift this finger about 1/4 inch. Then you're going to lift it to about here. Do you see how that makes almost a straight line there? So it's around, you're lifting it 1/4 inch and then about another inch, something like that. All right, and then you're going to throw it down or snap it down. So we're going to do this at 50. That means that there's a long time in between each motion, but the motion itself is quick. So I call that Wieniawski finger speed. Okay, so it's like this. Then tap your thumb like this, tap, and then you may need to pluck it to make sure you're in tune. Unfortunately, you can hear that. What you can't hear is if this is moved up or down, all right? So every once in a while you might have to test that. This is our basic framework for a hand. So our basic framework is the perfect fourth. So you understand that, okay? Which is the same thing as the octave. If I just move that over a string, that's an octave. This is really key to our technique. Miss DeLay was really big on that. And most of your basic finger patterns that you learned in Suzuki Book 1 are, in fact, all of them in Suzuki Book 1, were either the A pattern, which is this, which has this perfect fourth as the outer notes. So I call that A, or pattern number 1. If you look, Suzuki Book 1, page 20, it shows you the pictures of those, but you don't really need it. You can just use this, okay? Yeah, you didn't bring Book 1?
I don't know. My friend used to take with you, and I asked him what I should expect, and he said a lot of early Suzuki. So,
oh,
yeah.
You're talking about Alex, right? Yes. Well, he was younger. He was a lot younger when he came to me. So I think he was like 8 or something like that. I mean, yeah. So you're about double the age. So what you're going to be doing, you may be doing some, because basically all the technique that you need is actually for the left hand, even that affects shifting and vibrato. You learn actually even in Twinkle, believe it or not, and definitely in Book 1 for the left hand. Okay, so then the B pattern is this, all right, and the C pattern is the half step falls here. So does Catherine use the Barber, the color-coded blue, red, green? You ever heard of the red finger pattern?
No.
Okay, well then she doesn't. Okay, which is, I used that for a while, and it doesn't make sense unless you start on an open string. So that's red and this is blue, but if you start on the first finger, it doesn't work that way. So I really just use 3 finger patterns, and then the C pattern is modified. This would be C extended or extended C. But these 3 fingers being whole steps, that's actually what creates a C. So A, B, and then C, and then extended C. So C would be regular C is that. Okay, all right. So if you notice, the only thing that's not the perfect fourth pattern is the extended C. So we're not going to even do anything with that for now. So you see this straight line from here down to my elbow. Okay, so now let's go back, get your hand all set up in first position. And, okay, so set your all 4 fingers, just pluck up the scale, and then we'll tweak it from there. Okay, all right, so I'm going to change the angle of your hand by kind of maneuvering it. So people tell me I'm like a hand massage therapist in some ways. Okay, so let's actually go over to the mirror. So you can come over there too. That way you can see better what I'm doing. Okay, so I want you to look at how you set up your hand. Would you say this joint is higher or lower than that one?
Lower.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to revise that. So we're gonna make your thumb be a lot straighter because it was actually bent right here like this. Okay, and then I'm just going to move your hand for you. Okay, so we don't want to move this any farther forward this way towards your belly button, in other words, I tell my little students, then we have to. So this is one thing, this applies to a lot of things, that you only want to do it only as much as necessary and as little as possible, but you will have to bring it forward a little bit more because you're used to having your hand set up like this. So now this is going to come over. Now, what can that cause? It can cause some soreness in here because you're not used to it. So, you know, if every time it starts getting the least bit sore, you put the violin down, you're not going to get that so it's used to being in this position. I'm glad this happened because now I know. When I was in high school, my family went on a camping trip and I couldn't take the violin. And we were gone for 9 days. And I came back, and so it's like, you know, 10 days later, I realized, oh my goodness, my arm is sore because my muscles had kind of atrophied in that length of time. So after about 3 or 4 days, they were back to normal. All right, so it might take a little longer than 3 or 4 days, but just an FYI, if it feels a little sore over here, it's not going to be a, you know, terrible thing. You can actually practice going like this to help you get used to that, you know, so you're kind of, it's like stretching here, okay, but when you do that, make sure you don't stretch it so much you can't breathe. Make sure you're breathing while you stretch, okay, and don't do it for a super long period of time. All right, so now, instead of setting your fingers right away, just bring your hand out and set only your thumb, and I call these the magic lines right here. So that came from that teacher, Mimi's wife, Joshua Bell's form teacher. So she actually called it the magic X, but I changed it a long time ago, the magic lines, because, do you mind if I draw on your hand? Okay, all right. Because where you touch is going to change. This will wash off, by the way, but this won't make it. So we'll go back over here. Yeah, so just hold out your left hand and I'll mark on it. Or just yeah, here. Hold on to your violin here with that. Yeah, good. Okay, so we're going to draw here. So I'll just make a small line because you actually can't see it when you're playing anyway, but this gives you an idea. So this is just in the ballpark. It's not like, you know, it has to be down to the millimeter there. So I'll show you what I mean. When you set your hand up, when you're on the G string, you're going to be touching approximately there. When you're on the E string, you're going to be touching approximately here, the edge of the fingerboard. So go ahead and get your violin back up. Okay, so we're going to drop your hand down like this. All right, so now you have a straight line here. Just take your thumb off for now. Right, good. Okay, now let's set your first finger on the A string like that. All right, so the pinky side is now high and the magic line side is low. Look in the mirror. Okay, now this is gonna feel weird, you know, I know it does. Okay, now do you see how this finger's sticking straight out? Mm-hmm. So that's a sign that, you know, there's some tightness in here, so we're going to massage the back of your hand. Sometimes it helps to think soft palm. Okay, so the placement of your arm, this is a quote from Leopold Mozart, Mozart's father, who was the most renowned violin teacher in Europe at that time. He wrote a book on how to play violin, and he said the placement of this arm is so the fingers can drape over the strings, and I really want you to think about draping, because draping is relaxed, right? Okay, so if you're like this, then you know that you're not totally relaxed. Okay, so your hand does this really nicely. That's great. Sometimes when I do this with people's hands, it takes like a month to get their hand to soften up, but yours is already doing great. Okay, so notice since we're on the A string where you're touching here. You're kind of used to touching it higher like that, and then sort of scrunching it a little bit like this. Do you see my first finger?
Yeah.
Okay, so you want to make sure that you don't scrunch it in here. In fact, I call this the earthworm tunnel right here. So you should have a little space about the size of an earthworm if you're doing this correctly.
Oh, this is hard.
Yeah, okay, and then it'll make total sense if you, yeah. So let's set your first finger now on the other string so you can feel where that is. So your thumb, well, okay, the neck is like the hub of a tire, like a bike tire. So it's the middle of the tire, and this is like the rim that's going around. So if this side comes up to get to the G string, then the thumb's going to move downward. Okay, so that's why the thumb has to be very relaxed, because it needs to be really movable. Okay, so yeah, you do have your elbow farther. That's actually probably more than you need. So don't stick your wrist out. Make sure, so you can look in the mirror. You know, if you're sticking your wrist out, you can see it if you're looking from that angle. Okay, so you're like this. Now, here's another thing that really works great. Think of the strings as being tight ropes. So have you ever seen a tightrope walker, or can you imagine it?
It's hard.
Have you done it?
I did it on Wii Sports once.
Oh, I've never done it.
Well,
I can't imagine doing it. Wow.
I mean, it's on a video game, but.
Oh. Okay, sorry. I'm old. So this is going to balance right here on the G string. Now, if you go like this, it's actually kind of falling off on this side. If you go too far this way, it's falling off on that side. So you want to think balance. That'll really help your hand get nice and soft. So look in the mirror. That looks really good, except for this. So think of the letter U shape right here, or circle, rather than the letter V. So you don't want your hand to look like this. So, okay, so this looks really good. However, your thumb's a little bent. Can you see how it's bent? Aha, there you go. All right, so anytime you bend a joint like that, you're actually contracting a muscle. So we don't want to contract any muscles we don't have to, because then they tend to get tight. Okay, so I'm going to give you 5 words that start with the sound of S. Used to call it the 4 S words, but then I added circle, so I can't call it 4 S words anymore. But here are the words: soft, straight, standing, side, circle. Okay, so those all have the S sound, and you can just memorize that. It's a little chant. Soft, straight, standing, side, circle. So those are things that you're thinking of to check your thumb. So if your thumb is soft, you have a much greater chance that everything else is going to be right. If your thumb isn't soft, then probably something else is going to go haywire. But you can check this out. So if your thumb looks like this or feels like this, then it's not straight. So soft, straight, doesn't have to be stick straight, by the way, you know, but so we're not like holding it straight. Standing, meaning not doing this and not doing this. So when you shifted down to 3rd position and you were going like that, then, you know, your thumb would be in the wrong position. It's not actually, so now it's not standing because it's kind of at a weird angle. Do you see what I mean? Okay, so generally we want our thumb to be across from the first fingernail, no matter where we are, until you get up to the point where you can't do that anymore. Okay, so soft, straight, standing, side. So this is, in fact, just the other day, Simon and I were discussing technique and stuff. That's what nerdy violin teachers do. And he was saying, well, I think the most important thing is having the thumb be on the phone, because he remembered when his daughters were taking, I had them put their thumb right here like this, and I'll draw one other thing on your hand, okay? So you can just hold that. Okay, so. And to balance it out, I'll put one over here, otherwise it looks really weird. So those are supposed to look like ears. Okay, now have you ever held a phone up to your ear? And that's something I never used to have to ask people, but nowadays,
I used to.
Okay, you used to, so you know what that's like. So when you hold the phone up to your ear, you don't go like this and smash it in your ear. And you certainly don't go like this and smash it in your nose, right? Okay, so go ahead and put your violin back up on your shoulder, and we're going to put the ear on the phone. All right, because you will definitely hear him say that if you're not doing that, because he uses that same.
So it's okay that
thing.
I'm like seeing the face. Am I supposed to see the face?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Right. So you're not. So the nose is not pressed into the neck.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm just like I'm used to my first violin teacher would draw little like faces on my thumb, and then if I could see them from like over here, then I was too far. My thumb was too far.
Oh, maybe because you're doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe. Oh yeah. Right. Well. Yes. So yeah, that would not be good. But so the ear is definitely where you're touching there. So soft straight standing, side, and then circle. This is the circular feeling, or the letter U shape instead of the letter V. All right. Now, this finger, okay, I have to draw more on your hand. I should just draw everything, I guess. I'll just set it down here. Just don't sit down there. Okay. So we're going to land your finger on this side.
Maybe I can tattoo this on myself.
That would be pretty funny. Okay, so I'm going to show you my hand. I bet you had said no tattoos, right? Okay, so if you watch my finger go down here, do you see I'm leaving a little space here between these two fingers, and I'm touching on this side, or the thumb side, or inside. Sometimes we call that the inside corner. Does Catherine talk about landing your finger? Has she ever talked about that? Yeah. Inside corner, thumb side corner. It's not really the corner, because then you'd be falling off the tightrope that way, and then that would be all tight, like that. So you're balancing your fingers. So again, if I'm playing the high two, the A finger pattern, that's going to be on the inside. Then this comes down, that's on the inside. All right, so in other words, I'm not, because I've angled my hand so that the magic lines are low and the pinky side is high, that enables my fingers to work like this. All right, not like this.
Can I take a picture of this?
Yeah, good idea. Yeah, that way you can replace it. Yeah. People see the Sharpie and they're all worried that it's going to be permanent, my younger students.
Here, we can.
No, I just.
I think I joked once with somebody that it would not wash off. And then they were all freaked out, one of the little kids. So anyway, okay, so now, so again, when you're setting your hand, just know that this is going to want to roll over this way. First finger is your leader, all right? So the first finger is going this way, everything else is going to go the wrong way instead of this way, okay? So like this, not like this. So that's why this side needs to be high. You want to look at somebody who has a really, like, if you go on YouTube and look at Yasong Sophie Lee, you know, she has this side, it's really high and that side's low. And that's why it's easy for her to play Wieniawski, and, you know, because she can get around so easily here, okay? Now, there's one other thing, because I don't want to leave anything out, because every once in a while I do, and then I need to come back to it, and then I forget that I didn't do it. So we're kind of going to cover all the basics of left hand. So the job of the thumb is to do what? you thought about that.
Keep the violin stable.
Yeah, right. When you hang the weight from your fingers. So I'm really big on thinking hang weight rather than press down. So if you just push up right here on my finger, but on my finger.
Okay.
So yeah, do you see how I'm not really tight? So if I were pressing, I'd go like that, and then this would get all tight. Okay, or I could press. Do this once again. Press up on there. So you tend to go like that and let this kind of sink in, like this. So it's going like that.
Somewhere
All right. So you're actually keeping this earthworm space here, and this is actually quite relaxed.
So more convex
So
than concave.
I'm not sure I follow.
Like this.
Oh, that.
Angle.
Okay, yeah. It's actually a straight line.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a straight line. Okay, so yeah. I do use concave and convex when it comes to certain things, but yeah. Okay, so can you keep your finger from getting pushed around? So just hang some weight there. Try to keep the rest of your hand all relaxed. Yeah, so even a little less, you don't need quite that much weight, but hang it from this side. Yeah, so you have to kind of bring this in a little bit. Yeah, and then this would be up here, like over the fingerboard. Good, and your thumb's nice and soft. Okay, so now I'm going to have you hang there. Now walk over to this finger and try to keep your hand very nice and relaxed. So you're hanging from the inside corner, right? And now we'll walk over to here. So you're pressing down, just hang. Okay, and then here. So this is not necessarily going to be on the inside corner. I don't know for sure yet with your hand because I haven't worked with it enough to know how much you're going to have to think inside corner there. But do you feel how relaxed this is? So that's really plenty of weight to get the string down. You've been setting your hand up in a way that you were pressing the string down like this instead of hanging. So the reason why you can hang so easily here is this is a very strong position for a hand to be in. In fact, you could actually hang the weight of your body from these two fingers without these if you're hanging on a bar. Okay, now I haven't tried it because I'm 64. So one day I was around a bar and I thought, I'm going to try that. And then I thought, oh, maybe not because I was worried about my shoulders and stuff. I actually have a really crooked back. When I was your age, I wore a back brace, which is not fun. So I'm kind of careful about that. But one of my students several years ago was a gymnast, and she told me that you can hang from here. The other thing I found out from her is that you can hang your weight from just 4 fingers in one hand like this, and gymnasts never use their thumbs to hold onto a bar. So when they're like catching the bar as they're flying through the air, the uneven parallel bars, they actually land like this. They don't hold onto it because they would injure their thumbs. So this is a very strong position, and you only need a little bit of weight there. So all you have to do is keep your hand in this kind of shape like this, and then you don't have to force anything. So yeah, so let's do this once more. So keep it from flopping around. You can keep it relaxed and still keep it from flopping around. Okay, see how easy that is? That was really good. Notice this, how high this is compared to this. Okay, now, why don't you come over, actually, this is probably about the right height for you. They're my cornflakes. I put cornflakes under my students' thumbs to keep them soft. Okay, so just rest your left hand on the piano here. So just like that. Okay. Now, do you feel this book pushing up on your hand? Would you notice it? Like right now, are you aware that the floor is pushing up on your feet? Have you ever thought about it?
Not like
No? No. I mean, we don't consciously, we're not aware of it, right? Okay. Now, in a physics test, the answer is yes, it is pushing up on your hand, but we don't think that way. So I'm going to talk to you about, like what we actually perceive when we're playing. So this is creating a ledge for your hand right here, right? Okay, and it's really, it doesn't feel like it's pushing up on it. It's just there, right? Okay, so what's the ledge in your left hand? It is this, I call this the cushion, right here where the ear is. Okay, so I'm gonna make, this is about the width of the neck of your violin. So I'm gonna put it right here. So just let your thumb, just to hang your thumb down for a second, just let it be totally floppy. Do you see how your thumb is? Your thumb isn't going like this, right? Okay, so here, let me just see both thumbs. Okay, that's great. So you're gonna bring this up, and then this is actually going to kind of rest right here on the cushion, and just hold your arm there. Okay, so if you have your hand set up like this, then this is creating a slope that is going this way, right? If you go like this, you're not creating a ledge, all right? So I'll do one other thing here. So these are all one-time things that I do with people to, kind of help you understand how your hand operates. So just put part of your weight on the chair here.
Oh, okay.
Don't worry, I work out, you're not going to fall on the floor. Okay, so do you feel part of your weight's on your seat and part of your weight's on your feet, right? Okay, now stand up. All right. Now sit right here. You couldn't, right? Because gravity would make you fall down, or if, even worse, if I said sit down here. But that's what we tend to do with our thumbs that's incorrect. We go like this. This is like the chair tipped over the wrong way, and then nothing can rest there. So then it has to rest here. And that's usually the cause of this coming in and creating a ledge. So we're going to work on getting rid of that and having your hand be in this position where your fingers are draped over the strings. So if I'm walking down the street, I walk down the street like this, and I just bring my hand up and make sure you're not sticking your wrist out. Yeah, okay, so very good. Notice your thumb does tend to bend a little bit, but that's okay, because when the violin rests right here, it'll cause it to kind of go out this way rather than go like this, because something's resting on it there. Okay, now keep in mind, before we do this, reach your hand out like this. Now just feel how light the violin is. Don't worry, I'm not going to let it fall. Okay, just let your hand come out like that. So you're just balancing. Do you feel how light it is? Does it feel light to you?
Not really.
Not really? Okay, now here, hold it like this. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Does that feel heavy? Yes, okay. So actually, if you're balancing the violin, it feels much lighter, right? Okay, now if you did this, now it doesn't feel so light anymore, right? Okay, all right, so your violin is resting on your shoulder. And by the way, your shoulders look great. That's wonderful. Your head does look like a little bit to the side, so we may tweak that at some point. But your shoulders really look awesome, so I'm not going to address anything like that today because I don't think it's going to make a big difference in your left hand. All right, so we're setting your hand up so that you're resting the neck of the violin right there. All right, and let's set your first finger on the D string this time. So go ahead and pluck D, E, F sharp, G, kind of slowly. So think about setting it on the tightrope. Tell your thumb to stay nice and straight. Okay, very good. You're doing that really well. I know that feels really weird. Okay, now when you started setting your fourth finger right then, your wrist stuck out. So one of the key things that we want to do, that we need to do with our left hand, is to be able to drop and lift the fourth finger without moving the hand. You're just moving it from the bass joint. So can you set it on the D string? Okay. All right, pluck up the scale once more. So set this. Okay, and we're going to keep that nice and soft. And then we set that. There we go. Okay, good. All right. Now, your arm probably hurts already a little bit, does it? I don't know.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. Okay, well, good. It doesn't hurt a lot. All right, so check your 5 words, right? So soft, straight, standing, side, and the circle right here. All right, so now let's do the target practice with the pinky finger. Your thumb really is wanting to bend, so you'll have to think about that, okay? All right, and then this pinky needs to be in a curvy state here, like that. Okay, so here we go. Lift it 1/4 inch, and keep it curvy. Lift, throw, tap, wait. And you're so much taller than I'm probably going to pull this down. So feel free to just lift it back up if I don't notice it. Okay, let's go back over to the mirror. I needed to have you go in there so I could show you the thing about the thumb and being the ledge. So your thumb's the ledge. All right, and then I would look at it from this angle for now. So you're going to need to think about the thumb. Now that looks really good. So go ahead and pluck up the scale once again really slowly. If you need to, you could tap your thumb lightly between each finger drop. Good. So we're going to keep this really open right here. Okay. So your pinky is a little bit curvier like this. And I know it's not used to going down at that angle, right? Does it feel really weird?
A little bit.
A little bit weird, yeah. Okay. Okay, and then tell this part of your hand to stay really open. We need to keep a big space between the base of the first finger down here and your thumb. Okay, so now go ahead and do lift. Okay, lift. So now you're going to lift it this far.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then drop, tap your thumb, and then wait. Okay, lift, lift. So instead of lifting it straight up, yeah. Okay, so try to keep the finger the same curve, like that. Okay. So your wrist is going to want to stick out. Just look in the mirror when you're at home so you can see. Do you see how the wrist is totally straight in the mirror? Look in the mirror. So you've got a straight line from here down. Okay. All right. Okay, so let's do it again here. Lift, lift, throw. So you're going to need to throw it a little farther apart because that's a whole step, right? Let's check. Can you pluck this note? Okay, that's good. Okay, and now pluck A and tell your thumb to not squeeze. Okay, now let's do it again. Lift, lift, throw, tap, wait. And we're keeping the space here. All right, so where you have the space in your hand is 2 places. One is between the 1 and the 2. So you're squeezing right here, which is totally normal, okay? And tell me if you need to stretch. Do you need to stretch?
I'm okay.
Okay, all right, you're gonna tough it out. Okay, so there's a space here and there's a space here. This is, does this look like something you've seen in a painting ever? The most famous painting in the world on the Sistine Chapel.
Oh, the God dude?
Yeah, and then Adam looks like this. His hand looks like this because it's before God touches his hand, and then, yeah, it's an allegory of him bringing Adam to life. So if you ever fell asleep and your hand were hanging off the edge of the bed, I can guarantee you it would not look like this. And it wouldn't look like this. It would look like that because this is our natural hand position. So this is where we get the space to make the perfect fourth. The, easy, relatively easy, is between the first and the second and the third and the fourth fingers, like that. Yeah, then you don't have to squeeze. That looks really very good, Camille. Yeah. So you will have to get the feeling of the space. Everybody's hands are different, so you may need to straighten out your pinky a little bit more. Can't tell exactly yet, can you keep the third and the second together down at the at the base without squeezing with your thumb and without changing your wrist. Yeah. Okay, so now do the target again. Lift, lift, drop, tap, wait. Okay, yeah, so I'll send you two things. I'm going to send you that spreadsheet and I'll send you the target practice. Okay, you need to stretch. So let me show you a really quick and easy stretch. Okay, so you go like this. You just stretch your fingers way up to the ceiling and then flop. And then you do it again. And it's very quick. So you're going like this. Actually stretch all your fingers out and then flop. Doesn't that feel good? Yeah. And it's so easy and quick, and that works for actually any instrument. I did learn that from a piano teacher. Okay, so if you go like this, now that feels better now, right? That you've done the stretch. Okay, so we're like this. So your hand's already getting much softer there. All right, and you're not squeezing with your thumb. So awesome. So if your arm starts getting too tight, you're going to have to stretch, because then it'll make your hand get tight, even if you don't want it to, if you're trying to focus on it. So you'll probably have to do quite a few stretches right now. Okay, so now we're going to do the target practice with the other fingers. All right, so take your forefinger off. Notice all the fingers are down on the string that are below the one that you're doing target with. So we're going to have these two down, and you're going to go lift, lift, throw, tap, wait. Okay, lift, lift, throw, tap, wait. Okay, yes, and this is going to go a little higher here. Let's do it again. Lift, lift, throw, tap the thumb, and wait. Good. Now I'm going to let go. Can you use your eyes to keep your arm in that position? Okay, so do the lift, lift, throw, tap. Okay, nice. That felt easy, right? Okay, now second finger. Okay, that's super easy, right? Okay, so you won't need to practice those very much because they are doing the right thing. This one you'll need to do a little bit more than that one probably. Okay, and now first finger. So this is going to be different. Instead of lifting it 1/4 of an inch and an inch, you're only going to lift it for now about 1/4 of an inch and 1/4 of an inch. So you're going to go like this and like that. So do you feel how relaxed that is? It's not doing this. Okay, so lift, lift, drop. Okay, now you do it. So can you keep your pinky side up while you do this? Lift, lift, drop. Okay, now it's important that you not open the box lid. So this looks kind of like a box. So you're going to tip the box over just slightly like that.
Like that?
From here, exactly. So you're moving it just from the base joint, which is that. Lift, lift, drop. That's it. Okay, you really understood that concept of not moving it here. Okay, great. All right. Your hand really started softening up already, so that's good. I had you do it on the D string because that's the easiest for a lot of people to start out with. Okay, but, you know, I'm actually out. I'm in LA next weekend, so I don't know. Our next lesson's going to have to be 2 weeks from now, so I'm going to try to cover as much as I can today so you can be working on this. So I would practice starting on the D string first, all right? And then you could either go to the G string or the A string, it doesn't really matter. Let's go to the A string. So lift your fingers just off the string and try to keep your hand in this shape. Okay, so you're keeping it relaxed, but the pinky side's staying up. So instead of going like this to move to the next string, to move to the A string, you're going to drop the magic lines like that. So down like that. Can you do that? And then just double check because that joint is going to want to come in like this. So basically, the angle is going to be the same as it was on the D string for your fingers. Exactly the same angle. You have just changed where you're touching the violin. So again, you're revolving around this hub here, but the angles of the fingers stay the same. That's how you're going to really play in tune and have an organized hand. Okay, so go ahead and go up the scale. So we want that to stay nice and straight. Nice. So yeah, okay, so don't stick your wrist out to get the fourth finger down. You're going to have to kind of experiment with how you're going to get the fourth finger down, okay? Can you watch my hand once more, and then you can stretch while I do this? Okay, so, you know, my finger, because I have really tiny hands. So when my finger goes down, it actually goes down like this. In fact, it almost bottoms out, not quite here. Okay, we wouldn't want it to do that. But, you know, I have to set my hand up like this. Or if I set it up like this, I would have such a small space that it would be E flat. All right, so I'm bringing my hand around this way, and then I'm landing it. This finger's leaning that way on the inside corner, and this finger's going down like this. So some people with really tiny hands have to actually have theirs even be more elongated like that, their pinky finger. All right, you won't be able to set it like this, that's for sure. It can't be that curvy. All right, so if you land on your pinky more on the pad, see these fingers are landing on the inside corner, that's why I didn't draw on that. All right, so if you land more on the pad of the pinky, that's probably what your finger's going to need to do. All right, but get the magic line side up. That's really the key there. Okay, you could actually experiment with it like this also, you know, but you can't really see the pinky nickel, so I'm guessing this will be easier. Okay. Did you get that while you were in Japan? Your shirt?
No.
It looks like you could have somehow. It has that kind of look to it. Anyway, you were in Japan, right? Yeah.
I got these socks in Japan.
Oh, yeah, I can see that. That would be, yeah. Those are awesome. Okay, so we're going to move this down. Okay, and then put your first finger here. Okay, and then keep it, so this is actually balancing on the tightrope. The first finger's your leader. So if it's going this way, then everything else is going to be off. So balance that on the tightrope. Can you keep your other fingers over the strings like that? I'm going to let go. Just try to leave your hand like that.